Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we're going to work on one of the feet from the Ultimate Presser Foot. And you guys have asked about the edge joining foot. This is what it looks like in this box. Now they look a little bit different only by the fact that they might be a little bit shorter. But this is a really good sturdy foot, by the way. Here's what the bottom looks like. Whoops, if I can hold on to it. It looks like that. Okay. So let's put it on, and I'm going to show you. You can do a few different things with this foot. Okay, so let's see if I'm trying to do one specific thing, but I've got a few of them written down here to give you an idea of the different things you can do with the foot. Okay. Now this foot is number 27 if you've got that box of feet. Okay. First thing I'm going to show you is, and of course you can do this with your regular foot too, but this is another way to do it. So go ahead and put it on your machine. This is batting. Take 2 pieces of batting. This is how you use up your extra batting. Put the bar on the foot right down the middle where the 2 meet. Just like that. Give yourself a zigzag stitch. And you can make it wide or not. I'm going to make it wide, but I'm not going to make it narrow for the length. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make it, my width is going to be 7. And then, actually, I'm going to make my length 3. No. Yeah, I'm going to go 3 because let's say that I was going to be putting this sandwich between a blanket or something. Then I want to make sure that this thing stays together. Now, normally I wouldn't be putting these together to make a blanket. I would use this for a mug rug or a cozy bow or a wallet or a purse or something like that. That's when I use these pieces. And you just start from the edge and just slowly sew it. You're just holding the 2 pieces together. You don't have to push it. You don't have to pull it. You're just making sure that you're keeping that bar right down the middle. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're done. Let's take a look at it. Okay, here's what it looks like. It's real nice and uniform stitch, no bumps or anything like that. That's the top side. Here's the bottom side. It's not going to come apart. See, it holds on real good. All right, and you can do that with 2 pieces of fabric also. Now, let me go ahead and show you another thing we can do with this foot. All right, here's my sample piece of fabric here. Now, I want to be able to draw a line, so we're going to go back to a straight stitch for starters. We're going to put the bar on the foot to the right of the fabric. It's not on the fabric, it's to the right of the fabric, okay? So your fabric is up against it, butting up against that edge. Now, I'm going to take my needle, and if you recall in a previous video, I'm going to move it to the left. Do you remember how to move it to the left? Left or right? On my machine, the left is the width, and if I take my width and I go smaller, it moves my needle to the left. If I go larger, it moves my needle to the right. So I'm going to go 3.0. I'm going to go ahead and take, with my wheel now, I'm going to move my needle down so I know where it's at, and it is literally right on the edge of the fabric, and it does catch the fabric. Now, if you're going to do this, you would normally do it not on a seam, because there's no seam. I folded my fabric over like this. So I've tucked it under, because this would be the edge of my fabric, and you wouldn't want a seam to be out on that for any reason. And then I'm going to slowly sew. I'm not going to pull it or anything. All I'm going to do is just come along with this foot. And I've got it still up against that edge there. It is literally barely making, let's see here. I don't know if you could, well, let me just go a little further here. All right, let me stop and take it off, and I'm going to show you the edge of it right here. Okay, let me put it over here on the table. Okay, you can see where it went right along the edge of that fabric. Now, let's say that you went along the entire edge of your fabric, and now you want another strip across that because sometimes you want a double line. Let's make a double line. I have moved my width over to 1.0. I'm going along the edge again. Okay, we're going to take a look at it. Now it has 2. Now, I can't keep coming to the left and going lower because I'm going to go down to 0 and I don't have a negative. So now let me show you, if you want to continue, you're going to have to move it to the right. You're going to take your fabric and instead of doing it that direction, you're going to turn it this way and butt it up against the edge of that foot. Let me get up to where I'm at with it. There we go. And then I want my needle to come to the right hand side, so now I have to go up in increments instead of down. And now I'm up to 7.0, and let's see, where does that go on here? And it is almost right next to it. And I will show you. It couldn't be any closer unless it was right on top of it, I'm telling you. And it practically is on top of it. Let's take a look at that one. And there we go. It literally went right on top of it, right there. Of course, my edge is not straight, so that's why. But there you go. Now, let me show you if you were to take 2 pieces of fabric and put them together. I will get another color of fabric here. All right, let's say that I want to put these 2 pieces together. I'm going to have to do a zigzag to show you this sample. And I want to get the width as wide as I can. My machine only goes to 7. I will go ahead and knock down my zigzag to 2.5. So let's do that. And then let's see if I can do what I want to do. I think there's enough difference in the color here. The problem is my ribbon I want to use is going to be red. That's the problem. But I think I can still see it on here. Alrighty. Now, the reason I have it folded over, instead of just butting it, you know, I've got the zigzag, or well, the pinking shears, okay? Let me show it to you real quick. Okay, see the pinking shears right there? All right, I don't want to butt 2 pieces of fabric because that really is the raw edge. I mean, I could, but I wanted it to be nice and clean and have a seam. So I went ahead and ironed them under. So they're ironed like that, as if that was a seam. Could be a dress, could be your pant leg or whatever. And now let me see if I can do what I want to do. Hold on one second. Okay, so I did this little piece right inside of there, but I had to do that. I couldn't string it through because I can't find my needle to do that, but you can string it through if your ribbon is small enough, and I'm going to try to put a ribbon across this right here. This is what I have now set up to do the ribbon. We're going to see if we can do that. Now, the disadvantage of this sewing machine is that it only goes for the width at a 7.0. Now, my other machine went wider than that, and I don't know if it'll catch this or not. So we're just going to practice out here and see if it works. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock my fabric, my thread, in place, because you want to lock it on both ends when you do something like this. Okay, let's see if we can do that. All right. Now, let's take our... Oh, I didn't catch it, did I? All right, hold on one second. Let me move my... Oh, yeah, I did grab... It grabbed that piece of fabric, didn't it? Okay. Well, then I was wrong. It did grab it. Okay. And I'm going to lay this right in between. I'm still going to keep my stitch big. But the problem is, I don't know if it's going to work because it's right on top of that. So let's go with the width at 7.0 because it's probably going to be on the edge and grab it. So I'm just going to physically hold this together and we're going to see. This will give you an idea how wide 7, well, Oh, I didn't hit my zigzag. All right, let's start from here then. But make sure that you lift your needle when you do a zigzag. Otherwise, you'll have an issue with that. Now I'm going to take my width back up to 7. And I'm going to go ahead and do my length at 3. And let's see what it does here. Okay. It's actually going on either side, but it's folding down on my piece of ribbon because my ribbon's being pushed down by my foot, which I will show you here in a minute. But if my ribbon were smaller, which I'm going to stop here a minute and cut my ribbon in half. Okay, let's see here. So I need to lock it in place, but with a straight stitch, not a stitch. And let's move it over. Okay, let's do that. We'll go forward and backwards. All right, let me take it off. And then I'm going to cut this ribbon just with my scissors now, not anything else. Now I have literally taken a sliver off of that. And you'll be able to see it. I'm going to come above where I actually did that so that you can actually see it. I can show you the piece, but still it'd be better if you can actually see it on here. And I'm going to keep this width at 7. And let me go ahead and lock it into place just like before, and then lift up my needle to start the zigzag, and then back up to 7 for my width. Okay, what am I doing here? I've got something wrong. What did I touch? Oh, I touched the right zigzag instead of the middle zigzag. Okay, and that will only go up 5 for my width. It will not go any more than that. That's interesting. Okay, put the foot down, and now let's see if I can get on either side of this ribbon. There we go. And we're going to go on down to the end so you can take a look at it, and I'm going to lock it into place just like before. And normally you would feed your ribbon through after you joined it with the zigzag. Just so you know, it's just you got to make sure that your ribbon is small enough, because if it's not small enough, it's not going to work. And that's the problem. I didn't have a small enough ribbon. That's why I cut my ribbon. I don't advise you to be cutting your ribbon unless your ribbon is made to be cut like that. If that's the case, then there's no issue with it. All right, let's go ahead and go over. And let's lock it into place. And let's take a look at it, okay? Okay, so here's the ribbon that I started out with. And see how it kind of like did a little smashing on it right there? So as I came down, this is where I stopped, and I took that sliver off. And now, if I tug on it, I could probably pull that ribbon out if I wanted to. See how I've got it gathered here? So the ribbon is not attached now. Okay, let me back it up here so you can see it. I can actually pull this ribbon out all the way because it's small enough to fit between this 7mm, which is the width of my stitch. So if you can get your little ribbon less than whatever the widest width on your zigzag is, then you could do that kind of a decoration up 2 pieces that you meet together. I think that's a pretty good idea. That would look really nice. Like in a hem or something, if you put the hem in, you could have, this could actually be ruffles. And I looked for some ribbon, but I can't find any ribbon right offhand. Because you can take lace and attach it, and I don't have any lace. I thought I had some lace sitting out here, but I cannot find it. I'm going to look through my drawers here for a couple more minutes and see if I can find some lace. Now, since I couldn't find any lace, I don't know where it's at, for heaven's sakes, I went in and I'm going to put a ribbon on the bottom of this. We're going to see how well that works. And actually it wants to pull that over, but I guess that's all right. I wonder if I could make that shorter. I think that would be, let's see. I'm not sure if my length needs to be more or my width needs to be less to avoid pulling that over. But we're going to do some practice here, and we're going to find out if that's the case, because this wants to bunch up instead of saying separated. Let me see. I guess if I hold it apart, it's a little bit better, because maybe it needs to go a little bit. Let's see, my width is going to be even smaller. Maybe that's, there you go, that's it. So my width needed to be smaller. And I'll show you the tail end of this when I get done. It's turning out really, really well now. This would be pretty neat to put on a little, believe it or not, a tablecloth. All right, let's go over here on that side and let's back it up. And go forward. There we go. Let's cut it and take a look at it real quick here. Okay, so here's what I did. So if you start out and it's wide, it pulls it up onto the fabric. So I went down here and I made it a lot thinner, so that turned out a lot better. So that would be real nice if you drape that over the table, like a tablecloth or something, or fabric or whatever, but you could hang that over the table. That would look real, real nice. Okay. All right, so that's just to give you a hint, but this is how you would put the lace on also. You would put it right on the edge and you would sew it, zigzag it right onto the fabric, and you'd have the lace on there. And then if you wanted to, you could join another piece. All you'd have to do if you want fabric and lace is turn it this way so that the lace lays here and your fabric's over here, and then you'd have a piece of lace between the two. I wish I had some lace so I could show you guys. But that's it for this video. Let me line some stuff up here. Okay, so there's some of the things that I did with it. I showed you how to combine the two, and this is just a little piece of tie that went between a package or a bag. And then here is the rickrack that I put together. This one here is where I put the ribbon, and here's where I did the double lines. This is the batting. Whoops, let me get the batting unburied here. So there's the batting. And you can also, because of the way this foot is, you could actually do a binding on your quilt, because you would just take that and back that part up that's off the foot up against your fabric. Okay, so I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Click on the little bell for more videos that are coming. And like it. And I'll see you all next time. And thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.